All right, guys, welcome back to the coverage of the Hong Kong Flesh and Blood National Championship. It is grand finals time. We're about to go into the grand finals. We have Chane versus Oldhim as our grand finals. We have Bun playing Chane, and we have Jack Tang playing Oldhim. This is looks Jack defeated Xing in the semifinals. So it looks like he is his whole day is just going to be Oldhim versus Chane. So he's already beaten two. Let's see if he can beat a third one in the grand finals. So they're setting up as we speak right now.
Do have to say I'm
Look,
pretty surprised to not see a Briar. That's probably a good thing, though. I mean, that means that they made a analysis on the meta and made a good counter call, especially with Jack on the Oldhim and even Chane. I think Chane's got a really good matchup against a lot of the Briars.
yep. Oldhim seems to be an excellent metagame pick at the moment, considering that probably uh, he has a favorable matchup against Chane and Briar. Um, But we'll see how this goes. Looks like they're just requesting a toilet break. Makes sense. So we could just chat a little bit about the Chane versus Oldhim matchup before we get underway. So from what we've seen of Bun's deck is quite similar to Alan's deck, to Ray's deck, to Xing's deck. So he's basically going to be working with the same tools, belittle minimalism. He's gonna have the Command and Conquerors. He's gonna have the Seeping Shadows, and I'm pretty sure he does not run Eclipse in his deck. Do you think that is what's gonna come into play here?
He probably does not have Eclipse in his deck. I think the game's going to come down to shackles, but not in the traditional sense of actually hitting the shackles, but not getting rid of those Art of Wars and those shadow puppetries and
Yep.
the really big hitters. You know, it, Missing on the blood deck cards is not the end of the world, but when you take those Art of Wars out of the deck, it really impacts the game, and that I think that's really gonna what it's gonna come down to, and not getting rid of those cards that really allow for those extended plays of 4 or 5 attacks, and then mainly prioritizing sword swings, get that arcane damage in,
Hmm.
try to close it out that way.
Yep. We're gonna need to see a very wide attack patterns to push chip damage in, and then ultimately we're gonna need to see at least one, preferably two, giant turns from Chane, where he's you know his attack pattern is so wide, and then halfway through the combat chain, he's actually stripped all of Oldhim's cards away, so he can come crashing in for like 12, 15 damage at the end there. Um, if we don't see a giant turn, it's probably going to be a an Oldhim victory here in the grand finals. Um, yep, looks like the cards are on the table, but the players are not at their seats. Oh, looks like Bun
There we
is
go.
at his seat now. Yeah, we'll just give them a couple more minutes. Um, yeah, it's getting late here in the U.S. I'm just kind of I just kind of want this thing to start so we can have some gameplay to talk about. It's currently like 4 in the morning here for Nathan and I.
Late.
It's 6 p.m. in Hong Kong. So uh, at the moment, I guess we could talk about some some more like uh, kind of news or happenings. So
Yeah.
in Hong Kong, they love their Blitz format there. So much that their ProQuest, which is going on right now as a side event at Nats, is Blitz. So they started that at about 3 o'clock or so. So by the time this finishes, they probably have finished 4 or 5, probably 6 rounds of Swiss. So I guess I guess you're going to be going to sleep because, like I said yesterday, you're a responsible person, but I am not. So I will be. We're gonna try to cast the top 8 of the Hong Kong ProQuest uh, Blitz ProQuest. So uh, Hong Kong players are some of the best Blitz players that I know of, considering that the LGS density there is really really high, and their preferred format is actually Blitz. Um, when I was in Hong Kong, I didn't actually get much CC practice until like May or June. Um, when everybody was learning the game in January, February, March, April, it was just Blitz 24/7 there. So a lot of people in Hong Kong have a lot of experience. Um, I guess a lot of our viewers probably have even encountered some Hong Kong players at their skirmishes in season 1, season 2. It was not uncommon to see that. I got a message from Jack. Let me tell him to play blue. Um,
Hale McCreath actually had a good question in the chat. He asked Josh, me, and you what we would rank our top 5 CC heroes currently. You want to take that one first?
um, if I had to pick right now the S tier heroes in Classic Constructed, they would be Briar, and I don't know if I would put anything else in S. There's a lot of A tier heroes, but I don't know if I would put anything else in S. I mean, I think Chane, Oldhim, Lexi are all excellent A tier heroes, but I don't I don't know if I would put anything alongside Briar at this point. However, be however, uh, I think Oldhim has an excellent matchup against Briar. So, I mean, especially if the Briar is not built correctly with the evergreens and uh, like they have to pitch stack to get over the line sometimes. So I do want to say though that a underrated hero in my opinion, and this is actually very surprising that I didn't see any Reinhardt at the Hong Kong meta, considering that there was a
So,
Reinhardt that top forward in Taiwan and Hong Kong. Uh, they're quite buddy buddy with each other. So I think Reinhardt actually has a pretty decent position in the metagame right now. Um, but I'm like for me personally, like I've decided, we got some downtime during Christmas and January, a little bit of time before Everfest. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to learn Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt is positioned nicely in the metagame. He's basically the only hero, the only physical damage hero that can actually play around the embodiments, which I think is worth
right.
something. However, the uh, the level of you Reinhardt is not a deck that you can just pick up and play. Like you have to have quite a few reps on that, and I think that there's like several Reinhardt sideboarding decisions that you have to make. So like the club versus the claws, that takes a lot of time to learn. So that's kind of what I'm spending my Christmas and New Year's on. I'm going to learn how to play Reinhardt because I think he's excellently positioned. But yeah, so just to summarize, I think if I had to pick, I would put Briar as S, and I'd put Chane Oldhim and Lexi as A tier. How about you?
Yeah, I think that in a vacuum, considering just raw power of the deck, I think Oldham's actually the best deck
Hmm.
currently. However, given the time constraints in Swiss, I would probably put it on an even tier with Briar, if
Hmm.
not maybe a little bit under.
Hmm.
And then right alongside Oldham, if I placed it underneath Briar, I'd put Chane, obviously.
Hmm.
And then closely behind them, I wouldn't say on an even field of them, I'd put Bravo.
Hmm.
Simply because I think a lot of the prisms have been pushed out, which was the biggest issue that Bravo had.
Hmm.
And Bravo has a decent matchup into all of those with the on hit effects. And then I would probably say more of a meta pick, not necessarily a just currently just where it's at. I'd say Ice Lexi. If
Hmm.
if it's played correctly and the mathematical ratios are
Yep.
done very well, I'd probably put that as maybe the fifth deck.
Hmm.
Um, I think that'd be a solid choice. I don't think in the top five there's any room left for Dash, unfortunately. Just
Yeah, we
miss.
we saw we saw Kelvin Law bringing Dash to a ninth place finish here. Kind of to answer one of the questions in the chat, he bubbled on ninth. He was playing Dash, but we saw him lose twice to Briars on camera, and I guess he took a L during the draft as well. So he was six and
Right.
three. Um, both players are shuffling right now. They have their equipment presented, um, and looks like they're cutting. Looks like let's just transition right into the game here. So here we go. Grand finals of the Hong Kong Flesh and Blood Nationals is going to be between fourth seed Bun playing Chane in the red trunks, and his opponent in the blue trunks will be Jack Tang on Oldhim, coming in as seventh seed. So Bun had to defeat a Briar in the quarterfinals, and then had to defeat another Briar in the semifinals, which we just watched. Jack Tang, his whole day has been beating up chains. So Jack should be very comfortable by now in this matchup, whereas Bun is going to have to switch gears here from playing against those super aggro Briar decks to playing against the control deck of the format right now in Oldhim. All right, so decks have been cut. Higher seed is Bun. He will get to choose which whether he wants to play first or second here. Do you think he opted for first or second?
The Chain or Oldham? Which one
The
got the die roll or the seed?
the chain got the chain is coming in as the higher seed.
Um, Typically you want to get the shackles going. However, I'm not crazy, or I'm not against going second,
Hmm.
just because it saves you. It has the chance of saving you. Uh, 3 or 4 cards from or no. I would stay first. I would stay first to get the shackles going.
Sure.
And then really allowing for that mulligan, and getting rid of
Hmm.
those blood deck cards out of your hand if you start with them like that.
Yep, those are two cards that are going to be very important for the later in the game. Seeping Shadows, Howl from Beyond. Looks like he's just going to make a rune chant, make a shackle, and probably Arsenal Pass here. He doesn't want to give Jack a chance to mulligan. Just talking briefly about the equipment, we've seen Jack run the same set of equipment in the quarterfinals, running the Crown of Seeds, Tunic, Crater Fist, and Null Rune Boots alongside Winter's Wail and Rampart. On the other side, we see Bun with the Skull Cap, Grasp of the Arc Knight, Aether Ironweave, and the Spellbound Creepers. So Jack looks like it's Jack's turn here. He's going to play the Oldhim specialization, Endless Winter, I believe. Is that Endless Winter? I'm not exactly sure. I can't quite tell.
Endless Winter. Yep.
It's
Hmm.
Endless Winter. Okay.
Yep. So
So,
it's coming in for 8.
yep.
I do not believe it was fused.
Hmm.
So I believe the fused part of the card is each card that you block with creates a frostbite token. If I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, I believe that's the fused part of it.
Yep.
So that part's not active.
So this is presenting 8 damage here. Somebody off screen is pointing towards the Spellbound Creepers, but I'm not exactly sure what that's about. So I think what we need to see here from Bun is a combination of equipment plus a 5 card hand to push a giant turn. One of the things that we saw Alan fail to do in the quarterfinals against Jack is set up a large turn, and part of that was because he just didn't have his equipment on those key turns later in the game. So that's definitely something we're going to be watching out for is how Bun decides to use his Aether Ironweave and Spellbound Creepers. Right now, looks like he's deciding what to do here. Looks like he's opting to take the damage here, dropping down to 32.
And it's
And
actually a pretty similar situation to the other Oldhim Chain matchup that we casted because he
mhm,
started out with a Terra Sunder instead of an Endless Winter,
mhm,
and they both had Art of Wars in those hands. And this one, thankfully you can take this damage and not have to discard. But
yep,
here we go.
yep. So Bun starting off with 100% hit rate on his shackles. We'll keep track of that. So I guess he's just deciding which card to pitch for Art of War here. Looks like it'll be the captain's call, yellow version, to play Come to Fight, or is that
It's a belittle.
no, that's Belittle. Sorry, they both look kind of similar art. So that's a Belittle. Looks like he's not going to reveal anything. Jack pitching an Art of
Oh
War to activate Crown of Seeds. And this is a play pattern that we are going to see a dozen times in this game is Crown of Seeds activations uh, to block here. Looks like he's going to throw the strike in front.
Now, Art of War is one of those cards that I would love to see go in Arsenal for the Oldhim player and be able to tunic off of it.
Hmm.
But probably the right play because that's 2 turns away.
Looks like during reactions, he's going to play Art of War, banishing a Shadow Averser. He's going to draw 2 here. And I believe he's picked +1 here, but maybe he picked Go Again. We're not entirely sure here. Looks like he picked the +1. So he got rid of the damage prevention on, or it essentially traded with the Crown of Seeds there. So Bun with 3 cards right now. Still has his shackle available, and he has Art of War pumping his attacks. So we're likely to see the shadow being played and maybe a shackle into something else. We'll see. A pretty good turn here. Much stronger second turn Art of War, mainly because he didn't have to block with a card, and he actually hit a
Correct.
banish. So that's actually playing with 2 extra cards here compared to how things were for Allen in the quarterfinals. Looks like Bun is deciding what to play here. Looks like it's going to be a captain's call, most likely for go again here. Nope, looks like
Okay,
it's
so
going
it
to
must
be.
be +2. Go again. So we have +2, +1 from the Art of War. So if we see the Rift Bond come out, nope, something from hand.
I think it's unlikely that he can actually use. I guess it makes more sense to play from hand here because I think this will be uh, probably a sword swing at the end of this. But if neither of those cards in his hand are excellent arsenal cards, we'll see here. I mean, he's already gotten rid of the Crown of Seeds damage prevention, so the Rosetta Thorn is basically guaranteed to at least do 1 damage. Um, I actually want to look up Endless Winter. Let me do that. So Endless Winter hit. So whenever they activate an ability, they create a Frostbite token under their control. So that's why activating the Chane created a Frostbite. Even without the fuse is just for Frostbites while defending with cards from hand. So it looks like Bun had to pitch there to deal with the Frostbite token.
Does look like we have a red Rift Bind, which is getting +1 from the Captain's Call, along with +2 from the Captain's Call, and then +1 from the Art of War for a total of 7. And
Yep.
go again through the Shackle.
Jack pitching. Looks like this is going to be a staunch response from hand. Can't tell if that's red or blue, but I mean that is basically the card you want as Oldhim when
It's
presented
good
with a
timing.
large attack. I mean, being able to 1-for-1, or sorry, 1-for-3 these giant attacks is definitely where you want to be. Looks like Bun's gonna play a Shadowverse or banishing a Demigon from his hand. Um, it's coming in for 3 here. I think Jack is
Probably
debating
just
what to do with this last card.
or block from hand, and then the okay, shield block.
Yep,
Maybe take 1.
yep. He's gonna take 1 here. Rosetta Thorn here at the end for 2 and 2, saving the bounding for another turn. Jack decides to take the damage here, keeping 1 card in hand. Perhaps that's a Heart of Fendel, because I think if he could block, he would have blocked with it. Unless he really wants this Arsenal card, we'll see. Tunic goes to 3 here. Or sorry, to 2 for Jack. And I think he's thinking about what to do here. Bun already counting his deck here. Or maybe Jack is asking for a count. I don't know. I mean, Bun is the caliber and type of player to plan ahead 13, 14, 15 turns. So I would not be surprised if he is counting his deck. And like he is the type of Kano player that plays Talismanic Lens and Blazing Aether, and he knows exactly where his Blazing Aethers are. So, um, I mean, yep, looks like Jack is just going to Arsenal that card and pass the turnover. Looks like Bun banished his legendary specialization there, unfortunately. Soul Reaping. but he did hit one of the or a card uh, on that shackle. Playing a Gorganian Tome, drawing a card here.
Really not a bad start to a turn. Getting that
Yep,
card draw, replacing, and then turning anything. And I know he drew the belittle off the tome, so go search for the minnowism, pump the next attack.
yep.
Um, definitely seems like a decent play,
hmm
assuming he has the chance to do it.
Also, in terms of damage, he's dealt 8 damage to Oldhim, and he's only at Shackle 2. So this is, I mean, a general rule of thumb that I used when I played Control against Chane is if you're at 30 or more at Shackle 6, you're doing well. But looks like uh, looks like that's not going to be the case here, as this turn looks like he's pitching away the Invert Existence. Not so useful yet. There's nothing extremely valuable in Jack's graveyard at the moment. Making a rune chant, activating his hero to make a third shackle here. Playing a belittle here, choosing not to reveal a card, I believe. Maybe he doesn't
I really
have the.
on really like the move on shackling before the belittle, so that way you don't break the combat chain and allow the really efficient blocks with the shield.
Yep,
Thought that was really good.
yep. Good presence of mind from Bun. Jack is going to block this attack for Xaxes here. Oh, he already had a Minnowism in hand, huh? Okay. Looks like he's going to come in for 2 and 2 here. Not the scariest of turns here for Jack. This is going to basically be an Arsenal pass here after this Rosetta Thorn, I believe. It's going to block with the Krataseed's Prevention plus maybe pitching for the Null Rune Boots. And looks like he's going to activate Oldhim's ability, not allowing Bun to Arsenal.
Just such a strong play with the Oldham really seeing the opportunity where the chain player is trying to really take a lesser turn off
Yep,
and try and set up, and then just denying that with the card removal.
yep. Jack is basically saying, no, 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 no. We're going to play medium intensity fab for like 20 turns.
And so that's one thing. If he wouldn't have, with two pitch remaining, if he wouldn't have created the rune chant, he would have had two cards in hand and actually could have got the arsenal down.
hmm
So maybe the rune chant creation, knowing that you're taking somewhat of an off turn and
Right,
not forcing all the cards out of his hand, maybe that
exactly.
was a little greedy.
Yep. I think Bun would happily trade one arcane damage for an arsenal slot right now.
Right.
Looks like looks like Jack is like he got to keep 2 cards in his hand. So there's Winter's Wail coming across, and he's going to be able to arsenal a card. And this is where we're going to see either a armor block from Bun or him giving up some tempo here just to play things a little bit slower. Looks like this is probably going to be a double block here into a CNC attack, although that is going to be fairly easy for Oldhim to shrug off.
If the Oldham player does get a double block here, then that's That's just huge. It is threatening a frostbite token. But when you block with chain in this situation, you're openly admitting that you don't have a very optimal hand,
Yep.
which allows you, as the Oldhim player, to really just do the same thing next turn and get that one card out of hand, and now they got to play with three cards.
Flock, Plunder Run, and uh, what card is that again, Nathan? That's
That's
um,
unhallowed right.
that's Unhallowed Rites, the one that puts cards at the bottom of the deck. My bad. Uh, so so Bun has actually hit half of his shackles. I think maybe a little bit. No, one, two. Yeah, he's 3 of 6 right now. Not too bad. In fact, all three of them are sitting there in Banish. Um, so he blocked a bit on Jack's turn. So I guess this is probably just playing a couple cards out of Banish, possibly setting up an Arsenal card. We'll see here. He has 3 cards here to work with.
I did see an
However,
Art of War.
yep,
So the tough part is okay. So pitching that,
yep.
um,
Saving that for the second cycle of the deck. I think that is extremely important. There's no doubt in my mind that Bud is going to know exactly where that Art of War is in the second cycle of the deck. He is that type of player. You see him counting his deck right now. I have played against this man before, and what other people think is impossible or tedious, he is like, well, of course I would do that. Well, of course I'm going to count my deck and know exactly how many cards down my Art of War is going to be, because that's what good players do, right? So he just
yeah,
counted
the
his
first
whole
time I
deck
ever
now.
saw that, the first time I ever saw that was Dante Delfico in one of the
Yep,
callings. I noticed he kept picking up his deck and
yep,
going through it. It's a good strategy.
yep. Bun now knows exactly where that Art of War is going to be, and that means he can manipulate his hand size, manipulate his shackle count to make sure that he does not banish that Art of War. We're seeing some extremely high level play here and extremely good presence of mind from Bun. Looks like he's following up the ghostly visit with a Rosetta Thorn attack here. Jack has
Unfortunately,
no.
the Rosetta is just for two, and also I thought it was very interesting that the Oldham player let him keep the card. So maybe he doesn't have an ice card, or not sure about that, but interesting that he's going to let him have the arsenal.
Yep. And I mean, this is going to be the first turn of the game where Jack actually has 3 cards in hand here. Um, so I mean, Bun could be under some pressure here.
I mean, Josh, do you think there's ever a point in life total where Oldham tries to flip the script and just really go at him?
That definitely could be the case, but I think we'd have to get closer to the second cycle of the deck. I mean, if Jack got the count of the Art of War, he might try to time his aggression maybe 2 turns before, 1 turn before, or try to time a very disruptive attack or instant or channel like Frigid or something during that key turn there. Um, I think I think Jack is fairly content to play the status quo here. However, we're seeing Bun really pilot this deck at another level here. We're seeing him counting his deck. We're seeing him preserve his equipment. We're seeing him get in damage. We're seeing him set up properly here. And we're seeing him being totally fine blocking here. Um, so we're seeing a very, very patient, calculated approach here from Bun. And that's very, very nice to see here because I think if you run your head into Oldhim uh, and you play like I said, medium fab, uh, Oldhim is just going to eat you up. But I like what I've seen so far from Bun. Here we go. Turn banish number 4 here. Looks like he's got one hit there. Unfortunately, he loses a Marvin Skies there. So now he is 4 for 10 in shackles.
I do see a minnowism and a flock and a come to fight. So, um, looks like he's going to play the come to fight,
Yep,
pitching the minnowism. He has a flock in hand, which under current situation can
yep,
only be played for the well, can be. So obviously from Arsenal is CNC. It's never bad.
yep.
CNC for none.
Jack just checking, making sure that come to fight will affect CNC, which it will. 9 damage coming across here. Oh, Jack had a Heart of Fendel in hand.
And unfortunately at higher
And
life.
yep, and he's at higher life, so looks like he's gonna double block here, activate the shield, and use a prevention, and he's gonna take 1 here. Part of why Oldhim is at least A tier, S tier in Nathan's eyes is because he's immune to Command and Conquer.
That's it.
Poor Reinhardt, poor Bolton, they're like CNC magnets. All right, Bun drawing up here, doing another count of his deck. If I was Jack and I played again, if I didn't know who Bun was and I saw him counting his deck this much, I would be, I'd be pretty terrified. This man is keeping track of 8 different things in his head right now. Oh, almost missed the tunic trigger there. Pitches away a blizzard, swings the hammer for 4. Looks like 1 card plus an armor piece is going to be the play here.
It'll probably be the ghostly visits and then yeah, probably the Aether.
hmm Yeah, Ghostly Visit in hand is not that useful here, especially considering he has a plethora of cards that he can play from Banish here.
With 4 cards in the banish zone starting to stack up, and at 22 life versus 30. Obviously the play for Chane is to play, the setup game but we're starting to get to that point to where the life totals really can drop and you're just forced to block.
Looks like he didn't want to give him a piece of equipment there, meaning his turn is basically unaffected by the Frostbite. Looks like 2 hits there. One of the shadows is going away. Um, so now we're at 6 of 15, I believe. And if my counting is correct, he has not played anything from Banish. other than
I
what
don't
he
believe.
banished from Art of War or what he banished from Shadowverser. So he's basically saving up all his nuts here, like a like a squirrel before winter here, and that's something that's radically different than what we saw Allen do in the quarterfinals. Allen was trying to consistently put pressure on, clear his banish zone, whereas Bun has identified that he's basically got to put a ton of cards into into banish. Hopefully they're the right cards, and then pull the trigger at the right time with a very very wide turn. Looks like he's looking at his banish zone, so he's likely to play one of his blood debt cards here. I guess 6 blood debt is kind of too much, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
don't you
22
don't
life. Or
you don't need that many, right?
yeah.
Howl from Beyond going to the bottom here. No doubt the ninth or 10th thing that Bun is tracking now. So this Unhallowed Rites here is actually threatening a plunder run draw. So looks like Jack is going to try to block this out here. Shadow Averser here, putting a Bounding Demigon into the Banish Zone. Is going to get another card from Jack here. Bud has no more cards in hand, so he's kind of maybe playing around the ice reaction here from Oldhim. This is starting to get to the point where Jack is going to have to consider whether or not he wants to block here because the turn for Bun is coming up. We don't know exactly when it's coming, but I mean, he's at Shackle 6 right now, so I mean, the turn for him to go off is probably coming in the next 3 turns. So Jack may consider, uh, playing a Blizzard or a Channel Lake Frigid or keeping a hand to be disruptive back. Um,
Yeah, Channel Lake Frigid any time in the next 2 turns would be just catastrophic to the chain player. So I think if he sees one in his hand, he almost I think it's an easy take 15 damage and if you have to and really get it out there. I think it
yeah.
would definitely be worth it. All right, we got 3 hits in a row.
Yep. Oh, there's one of his
Unfortunately, the
Art
art
of
of
War. That's one Art of War. He has an Art of War in his deck. He's going to be counting. He knows where that Art of War is. And the question is, where's the third Art of War? He doesn't know.
I believe he played it early. So that should be all
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
you're right. You're right. He did play an Art of War on turn 2. He banished an Art of War here, so he has one remaining in his deck, and he knows the exact position of it. And I think that's he was counting there to see if he can stall a little bit until he gets to there, because ideally you want to go off with everything in your combat chain. Or on your turn having +1 damage. But I don't think he's going to get that luxury here. His there's 8 cards right now with Blood Debt sitting there. He's going to have to clear some of these out. Jack's sitting pretty here at 30 life. on Shackle 6. Exactly the benchmark here that I use personally. Shackle 6, 30 life, that's where you want to be. Um, the question here is how many sources of go again does Bun have? Now he still has the creepers, so that can basically provide an extra source of go again. He's got a shackle. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like a quicken token or anything like that available. We saw that he banished a shadow puppetry, and then I think he played one. So I mean, he's kind of running low on sources to go wide. Bun considering his turn very carefully here. With 4 cards in hand and an arsenal and 8 cards in banish, there's hundreds of lines of play here.
The only card I can make out is an Exude Confidence in the Chain player's hand, which is, it's good against Oldhim because it does turn off the defense reaction. However, does not stop Crown of Seeds because you can just when you gain priority off of playing Exude Confidence, you can just trigger your Crown.
Mm-hmm. Jack also has the tunic charged up here, so that crown is not even going to require a card here. Looks like Bun's going to start the turn off with a shadow puppetry, so this is going to be a pretty wide turn here.
All right, so interesting.
So, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so he's going to get a quicken token here. This is coming in for 6 here. Threatening
And that's
a on-hit effect.
And that's actually really good because now the flock is using up the shadow puppetry go again, but you still have the chain shackle that is still ready for the next rune blade attack or attack action card. So he could play or he could go into a sword swing, which would have go again, and then still go on.
Well, the sword swing would actually eat the quicken token, wouldn't it? So,
All
okay,
right. Yep.
so okay,
So
there we go.
so
Yep, that makes sense
yep.
there. So
Exactly.
the exude confidence absorbing the quicken token, so he still has the chain shackle. He he activated his hero ability to keep this as 1 combat chain here. So this is going to be tough here. This is going to be a very wide turn here. Maybe not exactly the turn that Bun wanted. I mean, he would prefer to go off with an Art of War here, but this is still going to be a pretty big turn. Looks like Jack is putting a Autumn's Touch in front of the Exude to turn off the Exude's effect. Even if that's a blue Autumn's Touch, that should be sufficient to deal with it, right?
Right. Yep. The autumn touch
Mhm.
will be 5, and the exude comes in for 4.
Yep.
The chain player currently has access to maybe with 2 pitch remaining, maybe an unhallowed rights to get a non-attack action at the bottom, and then a sword swing after that, because the chain effect would give the unhallowed rights go again.
Hmm.
Of course, that's not considering the card in his hand. Maybe that wants that to be an arsenal.
He has glanced at his equipment several times. I'm wondering if that is if he's thinking about using his creepers or Iron Weave here. We'll see here. Looks like looks like Yep. Yeah, he was looking at these spellbound creepers one too many times. So um, that's what I kind of picked up on that. So plunder run from hand with go again, essentially giving him an extra action point. This is going to allow him to play two more attacks from banish here. So this is very likely to break through for some damage here. The question is how much damage here. Now, Jack still has his armor, and I mean, if he has to throw his tunic in front of this, I think he's totally willing to do that. He currently has two cards, and he has Crater Fist and Tunic, so he potentially has 9 block here. Bun has done a. Does Jack have any pitch less? Looks like he does not, so he can't even use his shield without pitching a card here. Looks like he's taking it here, and that's going to give a card draw to Bun. This is the first attack that we've seen that like broke through the Oldhim's defenses here. So this attack has go again from the chain shackle here. And he still has 2 action
Currently, he
points here.
should
Huh?
be holding 2 action points right now. Yep.
Yep, he has 2 action points right now. Um, Looks like he's taking a look at his nut collection and picking out 2 of them, I guess. That's what the plan is this turn. Um, Sliding the combat chain over a little bit to make more room. Because Jack knows 2 more attacks are coming here. Bun is just calculating which method will give the most damage here. And it looks like he wants to swing with the Rosetta Thorn, preserving some cards in Banish. 1 action point remaining here. I think he's just this attack pattern that Bun is doing is actually presenting a gigantic headache here for Oldhim, because if he wants to, if he decides to block this, I mean, depending on what that card is in Bun's hand, this could be a this could be 2 more attacks here. Looks like he's throwing 1 card in front of it. Hmm. This so far has been a pretty good game here from both players. This is this is one of the more important turns here, though. We saw Jack start the turn on 30, and he's already leaked 6 damage, and the turn is not even over yet, and he only has 1 card in hand. Um, Looks like Bun has priority right now. Can't quite tell what that card is. Looks like he's debating pitching it. Looks like it's a blue Vexing Malice here. He's going to make a Rune Chant,
Yep.
and he's going to send another attack in. This Riftbind It's getting pumped by the plunder run, the shadow puppetry. So this should be for
Be coming in for 5 and
5. Yep, 5 and 1 here. So I mean, if Jack just eats this, this is a 12 damage turn from Bun. Pretty good here. Looks like Jack is just deciding to not block that. So Bun did 12 damage that turn.
then Jack is going to take 6 from Blood Debt. Should be going down
Bun
to
Bun
12.
Bun will take 6 from Blood Debt. Yes.
I think they accidentally went too far. I think Bun was at 18, was he not?
Yep, I believe so. Hopefully
That,
they could rectify that. We see an eclipse from Bun. Looks like he does have the eclipse. That is why he's been saving up his nuts here. Jack doing a quick check. Yes, there are 6 cards in. Looks like they're going to rectify the health here. I think they are realizing their mistake right now. I think Bun should be on 12 here. Unless there's something we didn't see. I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that they did not make a mistake here. There's something that we don't know.
all
Oh,
right, so
maybe.
I do
Oh,
see a time.
yeah, maybe he was on 16. It just looked like 18 here.
Okay.
Hmm. All right, so it's back to Bun here. He has an Eclipse banished right now. 6 cards is the threshold that he needs for Eclipse. I thought that this was nearly impossible after the Seeds ban, but I'm very happy to be proven wrong here by Bun. Uh, how would, like, conceivably, how would you go about playing 6 Blood Debt cards?
Well, really, you're relying on your non-attack actions, Seeping Shadows, Howl from Beyond, and maybe even like Shadow Versers. Unfortunately, every single Blood Debt card he has currently is an attack,
Yep, that does not have
so
Go Again.
that basically requires
Mhm.
basically a handful of Mavrians and Shadow Puppetries where things currently stand. I think he does have one
Wow.
Mavrian in his hand, but
He has
there's
a
no
time
way that
he has a time snap potion in his hand. So
and he can quick, right?
he can sorry, what did you say?
He can play that with creepers, right?
I believe so.
So he could
Um
shackle into a unhallowed rites and then play it at instant speed, gain 2 action points that take him to 3 action points, or go a different route. That's okay too.
mhm. So no doubt in my mind Jack is going to be trying to prevent arcane damage this turn to get rid of those creepers. I believe that's if the creepers are gone, that's gonna significantly cut down the damage output of Chane. This could be the pivotal turn of the game here. It is currently 10 to 18, and there is a lot of Blood Debt cards. Shadow coming in for 2. Jack putting the Crater Fist in front of it. What will Bun do now? I've actually not seen Time Snap used with creepers, but that is yet
The way
another
to do
thing.
it.
That's yet another uh, play that can be made here. And I thought Channel Mount Heroic at instant speed was good, but
Actually, now that I think about it, is there any benefit over just doing it the other way around and doing the Mauvrian Skies and possibly getting the Rune Chant on hit? Because you gain the go again from the Mauvrian and give the next attack go again, which is effectively steal two. Yeah, so he sees it too. So it's actually better to do it that way to get the on hit effect.
Hmm.
Good play.
Looks, yep, looks like he's pitching away that time snap potion. In comes the ghostly visit from Banish, coming in for 4 here. Jack currently has 1 damage prevention floating. Looks like he's just going to play a Sink Below, cleanly block that with 1 card, and continue on his merry way. Bun with a single card now in hand, I believe. Going to pitch, put his creepers up to 2, go with the Marvin Skies, gain that action point.
So now he has 2 action points and the next attack gains go again.
Yep. So this is going to be an attack for 3, or 3 attacks here. Looks like a bounding here is going to be the weapon of choice here. Jack reading Eclipse carefully here.
Is it 5 or 6 for Eclipse?
I thought it was 6, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a Chane player. Uh,
Because if my count's right, I think the max he can get is 5. If he plays 3 more attacks.
I'm not actually.
Does
I don't see how this Eclipse is being played this turn.
Well,
There's
this
just
had to go again from the Mauvrian, and he had 2 action points, so that
right.
allows
That allows
2
him to.
more attacks.
Yep.
The
So
ghostly
that's
visits and the bounty came from
yep.
Banish. So yeah,
That'll be 4 cards from Banish, but that's not 6. So
right.
let me just check Eclipse. I want to make sure here.
I looked it up. It was 6.
Right. So he has to play 6 cards with Blood Debt in 1 turn
Right.
to create an Urser, the Soul Reaper token. And it does not count itself, right? Because
Correct. Correct.
it says you had to have played. You can only play Eclipse if you have played 6 cards of Blood Debt here.
The interesting part on the Oldhim player's end, he's still got a full hand after all this, and um, I know what's got to be going through his mind is you really need to try and stop that 2 arcane damage coming from the sword.
Yep.
To really get rid of those creepers, or at least one of the arcane damage from the sword. Um,
He's still got 1
'Cause that's
pitch
going to
right
be
now.
really
Looks like there's going to be a block here. Pitch, activate Oldhim's Earth ability, preventing the next 2 damage here. And he has a token on the Crown of Seeds, so he actually has 3 damage prevention here. Hmm.
that really is well played by Jack to be able to set that up
Mm-hmm.
and not allow that arcane damage to go through to really take out the creepers.
Yep. So far, we've seen excellent offense from Bun, but Jack has held his ground very, very well. I think Bun is deciding here what to play next with his action point. Looks like he's going to use his final resource here. It's going to tuck something important to the bottom here. Or not. Or no targets? Maybe he has no targets for that. Huh. Interesting.
Interesting. And after all that, Oldham still has a
So,
card.
so, I mean, he has a seeping shadows in the banish zone, right? And he still has the Aether Ironweave. He could have.
I don't
Is that
think that's a. I think that's a yellow bounding. I don't think that's a seeping.
okay? He, hmm. Well,
I'm 90%
looks like we're gonna go to Shackle 7 here. There's the Seeping Shadows. Yeah, you're right. The Seeping Shadows is like kind of like a lighter color on the side here, I think. Again, it's really hard to tell, unfortunately. Five cards here going into the sorry, four cards here going into the banish zone for the Chane player. His health is currently at 6, so this is basically do or die here. Full grip of
and
cards here.
hopefully he drew a bunch of blues. If he
Yep,
has a bunch of blues, then he can get that eclipse out. I think I just barely glimpsed. I thought I saw a CNC, which would obviously not be favorable.
yep. Looks like there's a CNC there. He still has his Aether Iron Weaves, but he does not have his Spellbound Creepers, so this is going to make it a little bit harder here.
Really, you
Looks
need two blues to get the seeping and
the
an
Howls
attack out,
off. Yep.
and then you can Aether Iron Weave,
I mean,
and then
he really needs to spend maybe like looks like he's counting up the pitch, seeing if there's any way he can possibly play 6 cards this turn. The thing is, even if he gets an Ursa token out, is that? I mean, that's obviously going to be pretty huge, but that does that even seal the game for him?
I mean it's super efficient at 6 damage,
Hmm.
but he's still gonna have to go wide. And I mean, 6 damage and shackle 6 damage, and then playing an attack for 4 damage is not going to be enough against Oldhim. So you still
Yeah.
have to worry about the go again and things like that. But it definitely helps. It's super efficient.
Yep. I think we saw him pitch a invert existence as well earlier in the game. So if that comes around, that's a fairly easy card to get out of the banish zone, just costing one energy there. Um, looks like he's gonna. Is that a double pitch there? That's 2 red cards there to play a howl. 3 pitch here available from that time snap potion. Gonna use 2 of it on another howl. This does not look like that's going to be enough. There's another invert existence playing Seeping Shadows into Riftbind here. This is a gigantic attack, but he no longer has any float. But he has played 4 cards out of Banish. Still has Go Again, still has his Aether Iron Weaves here. So we might actually see it
It's
here.
actually, oh man, that's the perfect counter because now he
Yeah.
doesn't have the float because he can activate Iron Weave because it's an action, not an instant.
Wow.
Unfortunately, if the blizzard wasn't there, he was able to Iron Weave into um, a a bounding or an unhallowed rites, and then another one, and then that's exactly 6 cards and get the eclipse in there. But
That
that
is
blizzard really shut that down.
that is wow. Blizzard shutting down the Chain players' plans perfectly there. This is still 13 damage, but I mean, he can't get Eclipse off this turn. In fact, he probably can't get Eclipse off at all. Uh, wow.
I think after that blizzard hit the field, I think it's unwinnable from Chane's end.
Yep.
That's so many go again in non-attack action cards used that had blood debt, and it was all for nothing. He still has one Art of War that he should be coming up on real soon.
Yep. But
But
he's dropping to one
I,
here, dude. Like,
yeah, I don't see it.
oh, oh, right. Eclipse doesn't have blood at itself, so he's dropping to two here. Um, Another deck count. Seeing if that
He
looks like
should either be drawing Art of War or banishing it this turn.
Yep.
So, well, I guess we'll see.
Jack currently has one card right now, so if that's a blue and he sticks the hammer out there, he's gonna have to block, right? He can block the Aether Ironweave, and he still has one block with the grass. Looks like Jack is just confirming the order here that he's gonna pitch the cards to the bottom. That is open information. Handing the cards back to him, letting him. Looks like he changed the order here. Looks like he's about to confirm that he wants to pitch them in that order. Okay. Drawing up four here. If this is a blue from Jack, this is going to be a card out of Bun's hand. Unless that skull cap is looks like the skull cap is on two. So this is 4 damage here. It's going to be some armor plus a card, and that forcing of a card here is basically going to make it impossible for him to do anything here. Even if he banishes exactly what he needs here, he just won't have enough pitch or sources of go again to get the Eclipse out. This Winter's Whale attack, Jack has probably sent hundreds of those over at his opponent, and this is the one that is the most important here. Getting a captain's call and some armor. Here we go. This is going to be the final turn of the game here. Looks like that Art of War was one card off there. I mean, I think Bun just did not have the luxury of keeping a card in hand, or sorry, drawing uh, accelerating his card draw by one there. Well, he has an invert existence, so that is one card that's pretty easy to play. He has a Howl from Beyond, I believe. So if he has a blue pitch, that's going to be two cards that he can play.
I think I did see a Time Snap Potion and a Mavrian Skies, I believe, is what I saw in his hand. Not sure about the third
Mm-hmm.
card. Unfortunately, with three cards and what all of the cards except for two costing pitch, I think the chain player may go to zero on his own turn.
Yep.
He can't figure out a way to play all those. I mean, the Mavrian helps with the go again, but if you play the Mavrian, that's one less blue you have.
Yep. I mean, with with playing against Oldhim Control, I actually don't even know if it's possible to get an Eclipse out against a player with uh, strong presence of mind for what you're trying to do. So, uh, looks like Bun tried to cast that Eclipse, but he just could not get there. He tried his best the last two turns here, just couldn't do it. 3 cards in hand. He can't clear all his blood debt here. I don't think he can even clear. He might be able to clear 4 of the cards, but I don't think he can clear 5 of the cards. Meaning he's probably going to tick out on his own turn here. Looks like Bun analyzing every possibility here, checking his graveyard, checking his exile zone. This game has been going on for about 50, 55 minutes here. So that
Been a
whole
long.
thing about, yeah, I mean, that whole thing of Oldhim is good, but if you play him in Swiss, you know,
Yeah, I think he drops a tier in Swiss, and then becomes the best deck in the format once you get to the top 8,
yep,
just off of having that extra time.
yep. One of the things we talked about is newer Oldhim players need to be able to absorb information very quickly because Crown of Seeds gives you a new card. So you have to analyze how you're going to utilize that card within preferably 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, something like that, and make your plays very quick. And even if you play quickly as Oldhim, like if your opponent is maybe a bit of a newer player or they're a bit of a slower player, you can run into time issues here. But Jack did not go to time in any of his Swiss rounds, and we saw him play one of his Swiss rounds, and he played extremely efficiently. So that got him into a position where time is no longer a factor. Looks like a Marvin Skies coming out here. Which now means with 2 cards in hand and Aether Ironweave, he's working with just 8 pitch here, maximum here. No on-hit triggers that could generate extra cards here, I think. He's going to pitch. Looks like he's going to start off with Unhallowed Rites, putting Seeping Shadows to the bottom. This has been quite the slugfest, and Bun has been piloting this chain deck very well, but that one Blizzard on the turn where he tried to Eclipse was just backbreaking, and I think we're just going to see the natural conclusion of this game this turn here. Blocking out for 4 here. Doesn't even need to pitch. Looks like he's pitching an ice card to make him put that last card on the top of the deck, further restricting the amount of energy that he has. And with that defense reaction activation from Jack, I think he's just locked up the championship here. Looks like Bun is thinking about the about doing something while the trigger's on the stack here, but I'm not sure if he can do anything here.
If he would have played the How from Beyond first, that's in the banish zone, he would be at 0 pitch, and he could react to the defense reaction and play Invert Existence, getting that card into the pitch
Yep,
zone and avoiding putting it on the deck.
yep,
However, that's a missed opportunity for sure.
yep. I mean, having a defense reaction tacked on as a hero ability makes attacking into him extremely tricky. Looks like he's going to use 1 energy to play Invert Existence.
That works.
That works, yep. Finding 2 cards that he could get back with Remembrance and shuffling them away here. I'm not sure if Jack's running Remembrance in this matchup, but I know he definitely has that in his deck list. I think he might want to cut down on the cards that don't block. Like he's running a Heart of Fendel, so he may not want to have Heart of Fendel and Remembrance at the same time. So Jack having to contend here with 2 arcane damage. Invert Existence is a instance, so that doesn't break the combat chain here. I think Bun is just coming to the conclusion here, or coming to his own conclusion here. Looks like Jack is going to pitch to prevent 1 of the arcane damage. It's going to drop down to 12. And it's going to pop the Aether Iron Weave. That is an action. That breaks the combat chain. The Grand Shield comes back to the equipment zone, ready to block again for 2 here. Unhallowed Rites is how he's going to spend the energy from. Yep. Looks like he's going to play out a Bounding, and then he can play out 1 more attack, but that still leaves 2 Blood Debt cards in his Banish zone, so he is going to tick out this turn. And so that is going to be it here. Channel Lake Frigid, along with the mighty, mighty Ram's Shield, going to block this out. Bun going to play 1 final attack here, just to get some damage in, and this does not have go again, so this is going to be the end of the turn. He's going to take 2 Blood Debt, and that will be the conclusion of the game. Huh? He still has a pitch to play Invert Existence?
Yeah, he does, and but Oldham has one float, so he'll block one of it, go down to 10, and
Okay.
that should be yeah, and then it'll be down to one.
Yep. Looks like it'll go down to one. Okay. So, oh my goodness gracious, he actually casted it. What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. Uh, oh, okay. I mean, I mean, you got to give us a little bit of a break here. It's 5:30 in the morning, but like, okay, he just did it. He just did it, guys.
That's it.
Okay, he got the eclipse off, but he's at one. Uh,
They're counting to verify. One of the invert existences was from
was from
hand.
hand. Yeah, looks like
Right.
they're double checking this.
One invert, two boundings, a howl equals 4 plus one unhallowed rights is 5. So the second
Yeah,
invert
that
would not make 6.
the sex yeah the second invert. Yep, looks like Jack is checking
Yep.
there. Yeah, he's like, where? Yep,
So there should not be
did
an Ursa token.
that? Yep, there should not be an
Oh,
Ursa
oh,
to it.
that's wrong graveyard.
Sorry, what? Did the?
They put the unhallowed rights into Jack's graveyard, and that was the
Oh, right,
sixth
right,
card.
right. Okay, my bad. There we go. Found it. Got it. Got there. Okay. So the eclipse should be in the graveyard, or is it? Does eclipse exile
Yeah, it
itself?
should be. Yeah, it
Looks like
banished.
Jack is confirming. Looks like it is in the graveyard. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got a game, guys. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, Jack
Well,
used his whole
I
hand to
don't.
block, but I mean, can you get there here? He doesn't have any. Oh, he doesn't have any deck
Yeah,
left. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, he
yeah.
can still
That's. I
take.
mean,
I mean, he still casted Eclipse against an Oldhim. That has got to be worth something, right? I mean,
right.
that is a achievement unlocked right there. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough. Oh man, oh man. What a beautiful game from both players here. I think
Both
if
of them
there
had.
this has been such a high level game here, and both players played their heart out here. Excellent offensive uh, piloting from Chane, excellent defensive piloting from Oldhim. Both players knowing exactly how to push their deck to the absolute limit. Unfortunately, it looks like the Chane player, Bun, is going to be a couple points short here. Pitching away a couple cards here. Playing Seeping Shadows. Activating Shackle. Attacking with Ursa here for 6.
I believe he's checking to make sure that Seeping Shadow says next attack action card, which it does.
Yep, not ally attack. So this Ursa is going to attack here, maybe follow up with another. I mean, he still
Yep,
has.
it'll just be Ursa X, and then it'll be Unhallowed for 5, and then Sword
Yep,
Swing for 2 and 2.
yep. Jack just dotting his I's, crossing his T's. Everything is face up here, face up information here for him. He should be able to deterministically figure out how to defend this and get the W here. So we saw several tech cards here from Bun to make this a very close game. We saw an Eclipse, which most Chane players have said is like impossible to cast. Seeping Shadows, Time Snap Potion, Creepers, and just in general the playstyle of saving Blood Debt cards for a giant Eclipse.
I mean, going back about 3 turns, I mean, just imagine how different this game would be if that blizzard didn't hit at that exact moment.
Yep.
Um, I mean, you're talking just at least in that 1 turn. I mean, he presented 13 damage with the one attack and probably would have went for 10 to 12 more. So I mean, you're talking Oldhim would be well within lethal range right now, and
Yep.
then the next turn he would have not gotten that hammer swing. So really, that one blizzard was the game changer that really got Oldhim there.
Yep. I think Jack is just really making sure here that he's got everything accounted for here. Bun has no cards, no arsenal, no deck. Every single card is face up to Jack, except the Spellbound Creepers, which are face down, but you know. He has perfect information here and is just calculating. I mean, I'm wondering if he drew a Heart of Fendel plus maybe a 2 block, maybe even a Remembrance at the wrong time. That could be a little bit disastrous here. Unfortunately, we can't really see what his hand is. Looks like he's blocking out here for 6. Unhallowed Rites here. The final card with Blood Debt being played out from the Banished Stone with a Sword Swing for 2 and 2 coming here at the end. This Urser token is presenting quite, is really making this a nail biter here. Because Jack has got to kind of figure out a way to event, like, I mean, eventually he's going to be okay, but because the Ursa token by itself is never going to get all of Jack's hand. But
Well, one interesting play where the chain player could just absolutely just luck out with the Unhallowed Rites triggering.
mhm.
You could put a Howl from Beyond into his deck, and that'll be the last card that he draws, like he's doing right now.
Oh,
And he'll draw that card along with his pitched cards, and he'll be able to CNC for 9. But of course, that'll be after the Ursa swings. So that's a decent 15 damage turn, and basically just really hoping that the Oldhim player draws
draws
either
the
no
Heart of
blocks
Fendel. Yeah,
or defense reactions. And so of course, I mean the Oldhim player is good enough to know that he's going to have to play his defense reactions
the Ursa
against
token.
that
Yep,
Ursa token.
yep. I mean, Jack has played this Oldhim deck many times. I'm getting a little bit concerned for him that he's taking this long to act here. I think he may not even have the win locked up here. Dropping very low here. If he does not block this, he's going to go down to 3. Okay,
That's
1
it.
to 3 here. And now that 15 damage turn you were talking about could come to fruition here. One
Well,
card in
actually,
hand.
now
Does
it
he?
actually can't now. He pitches if he pitches the blue and swings the hammer, it actually wouldn't allow it to happen because he wouldn't have the pitch for it.
Yep. Okay,
Maybe
so
that's the
I take what I said 20 minutes ago back. This is the most important hammer swing of the game, of his tournament. He's swung that hammer hundreds of times. This is the most important one.
That just has to be a blue.
I believe it is. I believe it's a Winter's I'm not exactly sure. I, I I believe it had a wintry art. Wondering what they're doing now. Unfortunately, we do not have audio of the table here, so we just have to kind of deduce what's going on here.
All right, so we do have a pitch winner's grasp for a hammer swing for 4. On hit, generate a frostbite token. Also on hit, win the game. So
Yep,
that's the effects you want, and that'll demand at least a 2-card block.
yep,
And he will not be able to do the Ursa token into the CNC for 9, and probably just a Ursa into a regular CNC, depending on what the other 2 cards are.
yep. CNC time snap here. Probably the 2 cards he's going to keep here. Um, yep, he blocks with a howl and his 4th card there. Jack drawing up here. Ursa, Shackle, CNC is going to be 12 here. If Jack drew a card that does not block, this is Xaxes here. Although he can pitch that for the Rampart, so he would survive here. And that would mean that there's the CNC goes to the graveyard. So I think he's got this no matter what, unless he has 2 cards that do not block here. You know what would be poetic is he draws his Heart of Fendel and a Blizzard at the same
Or,
time.
or
Oh
well,
man,
I mean,
oh man, that would be the most poetic finish to this grand finals ever. Oh man, oh
the
man.
Blizzard would
Oh,
actually work. It would
oh,
deny the
actually, yeah, yeah.
can on the.
Blizzard would stop the go again on the.
Yeah,
Okay, that'd be even more poetic. It's like this
yeah.
card doesn't block, but it doesn't matter. He's gonna get those. If they're not already foiled out, he's definitely gonna get a play set of foil blizzards after this. Looks like he's blocking for 6 here. Yeah, ice reaction. Put a card on the top of the deck. Is that the play here?
That should do it. Because now he'll put the CNC back on top, pitch, make a rune chant, swing sword for 2 and 1.
Yep. And then Jack will be able to. Well, he's taking 1 damage here. He's blocking the. Huh. I mean, we thought this game was over like 10 times, but apparently it is not. Oh man, oh man. All right, all right, all right. Gonna prevent and block with the Ram's head, taking 1 here, going down to 2. And this is just gonna happen again, right?
That's it until he gets it.
Until Jack draws the correct hand to deal with this. I mean, is this Ursa token gonna go all the way here? 2-card block here.
Card block, and then does he have the ice card to put the CNC back? Or does he want him to play it because he has 2 3 blocks? Because
Yep.
that would be.
That is actually how he checkmates this.
Right,
Checkmates
yeah,
Bun
in this
here.
situation, he wants CNC.
I mean, so far we've seen 1 card only that could come back to haunt him. Is that Heart of Fendel? We have not seen him pitch or play a remembrance, which makes me believe that he sided those out. So the chance that he draws two cards that don't block at the same time is pretty low here. However, the last time we saw that Hartefenda was many turns ago, so it is probably coming up anytime soon. Looks like we're waiting on reactions here for Oldhim. Either that or Bun is deciding whether or not to play the Command and Conquer here. Looks like he's going to play it out here. A double block here is
And
going
that's
to wrap things up here. And that should be the game here. Unless he draws three cards that don't block. He took one damage there. Did he have... He only had a two block in his hand. Jack draws back up here. Chane into Ursa. Two block. Pitch. Create a rune chant. Swing. That's going to take all the cards from his hand again. Oh my god.
uh-oh. Is this a
Oh my
lock?
god. Is this a draw? No, no, no. This is not a draw. This is oh my
If anything,
goodness.
the chain player would win because the Oldhim player
Yeah,
would never be able to attack.
the Oldhim player.
Oh my,
Is this a lock? Oh my goodness.
holy cow.
Oh my god. Well, this is what we needed to keep us awake at 6 in the morning, right? This game is gonna keep us up. Oh my goodness. Oh man. And
Right.
if he draws a hand without a blocking card in it, if he draws a, oh man. I think they're
Oh,
checking whether or not he can put that time snap potion on the top from an ally attack. He should be able to, right? So
yeah, it's just a
one
defense
way he
check.
can win is he blocks for 6, uses the ice reaction, put the time snap potion on the top, and then he can use
And
his
then,
last card to swing. Does he not?
oh, but then he plays it first. Oh,
Oh,
man.
oh my god, he makes the rune chant first. Bun is a genius. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I can't believe Chane's going to win this game.
Oh my god. Chane is going to win this game. This is the greatest comeback I've ever seen. Oh my god. Is there any way for Jack to get out of this? I mean,
No, because it's a 4 card. Even if he draws like a staunch, it's still a card in staunch to block the Ursa token, and still 2 cards to block the arcane, and because he's at 1, so he could literally deck him out forever, or
oh
just wait
my
until he draws
god.
block, and then that's game. So, unless my math is off somewhere,
Oh
there's a
my
hundred
god.
percent wins this game.
And wow, we might see Oldhim get fatigued here. I think that's an Art of War in hand as well. I remember he did pitch an Art of War earlier. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, he could still pitch the Art of War to block the rune chant, but I mean, oh my goodness. 1-1 in the grand finals here. Do we have a lock here from the chain player? It looks like it is. Currently on 14 shackles here with no cards in his deck, a single time snap potion, and a single Ursa token to his name. Looks like Jack is going to pitch that Art of War to block here with the Arcane and maybe stick the Ram's Head in front of the Ursa token. I mean, could he win with a defense reaction that doesn't cost anything, like a Fate Foreseen Sink Below? Would that? No, he's still
Oh,
at
because it's
1.
still,
It's
and
still
so
5 damage with that.
even if he draws Blizzard, and tries to use it on the Ursa token to prevent the weapon swing, unfortunately that still wouldn't work because he would make the rune
Oh
chant
my god, he
first, and
concedes. Oh my goodness, an Art of War. 2 Art of Wars at the same
oh,
time. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy game. And with that, Bun is the Hong Kong Flesh and Blood national champion. Congratulations to Bun. Well played. Oh my goodness, that is the most insane game I've ever seen. I mean, I've spectated a lot of games. I have never seen anything like that before. Oh my goodness.
That's
What?
hands down the best game I've ever
What?
seen in China.
I've never seen a game better than that. I that is actually insane. Um, Hi YouTube. Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have a camera at the venue, so we're just gonna have to. Maybe they'll. Hopefully, they can like stick the trophy or something in the camera here so we can see it. One final match slip, one final tick here, and with the other signature there. Oh man. Oh man. Looks like they're going
What
to that I'm just in shock there. I mean, that was 80 minutes. That was an 80-minute game, but that was or maybe even 90 minutes at this time. But I mean, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Jack taking a little bit of time to sign that. I guess. I mean, you gotta feel insanely. I don't know what emotions Jack is going through, but uh, I mean, he'll be okay. I know him. This is gonna bum him out for a few days, but he'll be fine. But yeah, congratulations to Bun, the 2021 Hong Kong national champion, going 10-2 throughout the tournament. Expert piloting in Classic Constructed in these last 3 rounds has got him, I believe, 1,500 US dollars. The beautiful Art of War playmat, which is kind of poetic, and
it,
the trophy and a gold foil and title of Hong Kong national champion. So if you ever play Bun, you could tell him, "Hey, I saw your game. I saw your comeback. Oh my, oh my, what a game! That is nuts, absolutely nuts." Oh my goodness. It is 6 in the morning here in the US. It is 8 p.m. over there in Hong Kong. I mean, I believe that we're going to go to the ProQuest Blitz top 8 now, or shortly thereafter. So if you guys are interested in checking out some of the highest level Blitz play you will see, you guys can stick around. We're going to be broadcasting that ASAP. I believe. I will update you guys as soon as I know. Uh, as for Nathan and I, we'll just switch back to our webcam so you can kind of see just how awake we are at 6 in the morning. Like this is. I mean I don't need a coffee or caffeine after that game, man. Like, oh my god.
not at all. Not at all. And
Oh my
it
goodness.
was
How are you gonna go to sleep
fun.
now?
I,
uh,
I'm probably gonna rewatch the game is what I'm gonna do. But I mean
um,
that just
yeah,
Jack played such a flawless game, or pretty close to flawless.
yeah,
I mean, he playing that Oldhim deck is so difficult, knowing when to
yep,
use Crown of Seeds, when to apply a little bit of pressure
yep,
with the hammer swing, and then Bun just counting the deck and lining everything up and really testing those life limits on going down to. I mean, what he lived by one life point off of blood debt, and getting that
yep.
eclipse off was just fantastic. I mean,
Absolutely nuts.
that's just
Yeah, I mean,
their class, both of them.
yep. World class play from both of them there, and oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna go to a little break here. We will be bringing you, or I will be bringing you, the ProQuest Top 8 Blitz games as soon as possible. All right, so we'll see you guys in a little bit.